Channel 1, Channel 2, 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 Channel 1.
up on Star City News.
The Mega Millions has reached a record high $1.6 billion ahead of tonight's drawing. Have you bought your ticket yet?
Turkey's president has responded to the Saudi government's findings in their investigation into the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
And a little insect is making a big impact on Lincoln ash trees. Officials say it won't be cheap to drive them away.
Environmental benefits that we lose.
All that and more coming up on Star City News.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Abby Stonehawker.
And I'm Bailey Vertiska. Since 2016, Lincoln gun owners have had hundreds of guns stolen, and several of those guns were stolen from unlocked vehicles. Star City's Scott Ayers has more on the story.
Neglect might be an understatement, as just over 100 guns have been stolen from cars since 2016. Star City News filed a record request with Lincoln Police. Lincoln Police spokeswoman Angela Sands gave more information on this year's raids.
We've had 15 guns stolen from cars. Most of those were unlocked.
In the record request, Lincoln Police reports that in 2016, 38 guns were stolen from vehicles, and in 2017, 48 cars were broken into. There have been reports of the stolen guns being used in crime.
One of the guns that was stolen in 2016 was used in a terroristic threat and an armed robbery.
On top of the threat and robbery, 2 LPD officers have been assaulted and there have been 3 narcotic arrests. This can all be prevented. Big Shot gun store owner Jim Clark says people need to be responsible.
Don't become complacent, number one.
Clark demonstrated what a lockbox looked like on my car. Keeping gun safes in your car is important, and gun owners still need to take responsibility over that.
But people need to realize that they need to take some responsibility on their own to ensure that those firearms don't become a weapon in somebody's hands that shouldn't have it.
If you do have a weapon in your car, make sure to lock it up and keep it safe.
Thieves are on the lookout for that. Thieves will troll cars just to look for guns.
For Star City News, I'm Scott Ayers.
The craze continues as another drawing for the Mega Millions jackpot is tonight. But we aren't looking at millions anymore. We are talking billions. Star City's own Aaron Hunter is live in the newsroom with more on the story. Aaron?
That's correct. This little piece of paper right here could be the difference in you becoming a millionaire right overnight. The Mega Millions jackpot continues to grow as today's estimated winning number is $1.6 billion, making it the largest lottery draw in U.S. history. If there is just one winning ticket, the winner would receive a lump sum of $904.4 million after taxes. But the odds of winning are staggering, with a 1 in 302.5 million chance for anyone to win, no matter the stakes.
The odds are high, but at the same time, when you buy a Nebraska lottery ticket, a portion of the money goes back to good causes. So about 25% of every dollar spent goes to support education, the environment, the Nebraska State Fair, and compulsive gamblers assistance. So no matter what, you're going to be helping to build a better Nebraska.
Back in 2006, 8 people from Nebraska cashed out on a $365 million prize. John Hoppy, the attorney who represented the winners, spoke with Star City today.
It was pandemonium. It was the largest lottery jackpot in American history, and so I had calls from every major news service.
Each winner got a total of $22.1 million and have since lived quiet lives. With the prize being so high, lottery officials say they are selling 5 tickets per second. They want to encourage players to be responsible in the midst of fun.
We want everyone to remember, we're going to have fun, but go out there and remember to play responsibly.
For Star City News, I'm Aaron Hunter.
Some of you may have been wondering why parts of 13th Street were closed last night. Well, it's the finishing touches to the road reconfiguration on 13th Street south of downtown Lincoln. Street crews were out from 7 last night until 6 this morning, repainting the street lines. They are changing 13th Street from a 4-lane road to a 3-lane road with a center turn lane. The changes are part of traffic safety improvements announced by Lincoln Mayor Chris Beitler in August.
In other city news, the leaves are falling and we have already seen snow. But that won't stop the emerald ash borer. This invasive species is smaller than a penny, but could cost you thousands of dollars. Star City's Zach Penrice has more.
there is an unwelcome visitor in the state of Nebraska.
A tiny green beetle that has killed millions of ash trees.
The emerald ash borer, an invasive species that came to the country from Asia in 2002, has recently found its way into Nebraska. The Nebraska Forestry Service has done its best to respond.
And because it is an exotic species, our native ash were very susceptible to this pest. The insect has, since it's been discovered, destroyed millions of ash trees throughout the eastern part of the U.S.
The ash borer does its damage by latching onto the trees and burrowing deep inside them, practically suffocating it along the way.
You can see where the insects tunnel underneath the bark and the tunneling that they do. And when they come out of the wood, they make these D-shaped exit holes in the bark, which is fairly distinctive for emerald ash borer.
The economic impact of this little green bug's destruction has been substantial. In Nebraska alone, there will need to be at least $1 billion dedicated to this issue.
In cost of removal and replacement of those trees. And those are you know, the trees that are in our communities, and not to mention the environmental benefits that we lose as part of this effort.
Although it is difficult to stop this insect from destroying ash trees, there are treatments people can look to in order to save specific trees.
Emerald ash borer treatments are successful in treating for emerald ash borer. They're not always going to be, but they have shown pretty good success with treatments.
For Star City News, I'm Zach Penrice reporting.
Well, Abby, I don't think anybody is complaining about this beautiful Nebraska weather that we've been having.
That's right, Bailey. I hope these sunny blue skies are here to stay.
Zach, can we expect this nice weather to stick around for a few more days?
Well, guys, as you know, we've enjoyed a gorgeous day on Monday here in the Lincoln area, and today wasn't so bad either. We topped out at about 62 degrees today, but that's about as warm as it's going to get. We can expect similar temperatures tomorrow as we'll start our Wednesday in the high 30s while slowly moving back up into the 60s before rain moves into the area on Thursday. I'll have more on that in my full forecast later on.
Still to come on Star City News.
There are 2 new recycling centers open in Lincoln after a recent surge in the amount of cardboard being recycled.
Over 7,000 migrants from Central America are continuing their march toward the U.S. border.
And the World Series begins tonight between the Boston Red Sox and LA Dodgers.
All that and more coming up on Star City News. City News. Tonight, thousands of migrants are...
Live from the Anderson Hall Broadcast Studios in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, this is Star City News.
There's lots to see and do at the University of Nebraska State Museum. Be sure to visit our new temporary exhibit, The Museum Builders, which explores the history that led to the building of the University of Nebraska State Museum. Accompanying this is also an escape room, which features the history of fossil collecting in Nebraska. For more info, visit museum.unl.edu.
Since 1990, the Mary Ritma Ross Media Arts Center has served the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with independent film from across the country. With live theater broadcasts, Q&A sessions, and local film festivals, the Ross offers exclusive events year-round. So drop in, grab some popcorn, and watch some of the finest comedies, documentaries, or thrillers. For any movie genre you prefer, the Ross has got it covered.
At the Nebraska History Museum, there's over 12,000 years of history under one roof. Learn about Nebraska before it came a state, what it was like to live in Nebraska during the early years of statehood, and even see unique artifacts only on display at the Nebraska History Museum. The Nebraska History Museum is open until 5:30 Monday through Saturday and is free for everyone. With ever-rotating exhibits, you'll never run out of history to learn. Visit the Nebraska History Museum at 131 Centennial Mall in Lincoln, Nebraska today.
As part of their Simple Living campaign, Sustain UNL wants to teach you to make your own compost for gardening. Making your own compost is as simple as throwing uneaten fruit, vegetables, bread, and eggshells in a pile and letting nature do the rest. Try turning your pile once a week to aerate it and add it to your garden before planting for the best effect. To learn more about living simply, visit Sustain UNL's Facebook page. Sustain UNL, creating a sustainable world through activism, education, and service engagement.
Welcome back to Star City News. Tonight, thousands of migrants are heading toward the southern border of the United States. President Donald Trump is back on Twitter with his concerns, and everyone is watching to see if the Mexican government will do anything.
Most people are walking, some are riding on top of cars, and some are hopping on the sides of trucks. As of Tuesday, more than 7,000 migrants are making their way through Mexico and heading toward the U.S. border. Before the caravan made it to Mexico, authorities said anyone who entered the country in an irregular manner could be arrested or deported. Migrants were witnessed jumping off a bridge at the Mexico-Guatemala border and riding rafts to reach Mexican soil. On Monday, President Donald Trump tweeted he would declare a national emergency as the caravan headed toward the southern U.S. border. His tweet said that criminals and unknown Middle Easterns are mixed in the caravan. However, critics are saying the president is overreacting.
You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle Eastern, you're going to find everything. And guess what? We're not allowing them in our country.
The caravan is made up of Central American migrants trying to escape government corruption, poverty, and violence. In the past 10 days, many in the caravan have traveled hundreds of miles, but they have hundreds more to go in order to make it to the U.S. border.
It's been weeks since the disappearance of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and there are still many unanswered questions. Turkey's president said on Tuesday in a highly anticipated speech that Khashoggi's death was pre-planned and not spontaneous or an accident.
Turkey's president Recep Tayyip Erdogan addressed his parliament Tuesday, giving more details about the investigation into Khashoggi's death at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Erdogan said he discussed the investigation with President Trump, and they agreed to reveal all aspects. Erdogan said cameras and a hard drive were removed from the consulate prior to the journalist's arrival on October 2nd for his scheduled appointment. Earlier today, the King of Saudi Arabia said they will hold to account those responsible for Khashoggi's death. Erdogan called on the king to have the 18 Saudi suspects tried in Istanbul.
Trying to blame a few members of the intelligence and security teams will not satisfy us or the international community. It will be satisfactory only when everyone who is responsible for this is penalized appropriately. I don't doubt the sincerity of the king. At the same time, it is very important for the inquiry to be carried out by an impartial team.
CIA Chief Gina Haspel is traveling to Turkey to monitor the investigation. This comes following new skepticism from President Trump after Saudi officials told him Friday that Khashoggi was killed in a fistfight at the Saudi consulate.
In other news, 7 months after Lincoln enacted a ban on cardboard, the city is seeing change. Star City News reporter Grace Harmon has more on the story.
Nearly 7 months after Lincoln's early April ban on cardboard products, the effects are beginning to show.
We've seen a considerable increase in our recycling, particularly with cardboard. We've seen a 100% increase in cardboard recycling.
Assistant Director of Public Works Donna Garden explained why the ban initially focused on cardboard.
It's about 9.5% of what went into the landfill was cardboard. And we decided that that was the material we wanted to target and to make sure that we can remove it and reuse it.
Since then, Lincoln has also had an upsurge of other materials being recycled.
Anywhere between 20 and 30% in all the other materials that we have out there. And that includes plastics, metals, newspaper, other types of paper products.
To help accommodate the growing need, 2 new recycling sites have opened, bringing the city's total to 29. Garden said the city has responded well to the ban, led by those on the front lines. One of these is Ryan Hatton, an independent hauler based out of North Lincoln.
We as independent haulers want to do what's best for the city and, to make, the right changes for the future of Lincoln.
Hatton has had a front row seat to the changes the city has been making.
We went from about 50 recycling customers before the cardboard ban went into effect, and we are well over 500 recycling customers now.
Donna credits this to the response from Lincoln residents.
And it's been very successful. The citizens of Lincoln have come around to really stepped up their game.
For Star City News Reporting, I'm Grace Hartman.
So are there any big things going on in sports this week, Abby?
You know, Bailey, the World Series begins tonight, and the Husker volleyball team plays at Ohio State. Here's Amanda Acevedo with a sneak peek on what's to come on sports.
Well, that's right, guys. Coming up in sports, I get to finally talk about a Husker football win. I'll also discuss the volleyball team's recent slump against high-ranked opponents. And finally, a look into last night's Falcons win over the New York Giants. I'll talk about all that and more coming up on Star City News Sports.
Well, we've been enjoying some wonderful fall weather over the past few days. Zach, today has been beautiful out, but what about tonight?
Well, Bailey, tonight it's going to get a little chilly, but we should maintain clear skies throughout the evening. We'll dip all the way down into the mid-30s tonight, but sunshine tomorrow brings us right back into the low 60s. I'll have a full look at this week's weather coming up soon, but for now, I'll send it back to the desk.
Coming up on Star City News,
Amanda Acevedo is going to give us the rundown on sports.
But first, Zach Penrice gives us his full report and what's in store for the weekend.
You're watching Star City News.
We understand. Sometimes you need to stay late on campus.
Hello.
We also understand crime rates are higher at night. That's why UNL is taking care of their students by offering the Husker Safe Walk. It's a free walking escort service that can be requested at any time while on campus by calling 402-472-2222. Call 402-472-2222 if you feel unsafe or would like to request a Husker Safe Walk.
Libraries are more than just books. The Bennett Martin Public Library is a place for the whole community to take a break and read, or use technology. It's especially a place for our children to play, learn, and read. We offer spaces that help children learn to read and then love to read. Family story times and summer reading programs help establish the reading habit. Please support libraries as they help children grow into lifelong readers and learners. For more information, please visit lincolnlibraries.org.
Located in room 340 of the Nebraska Union, the UNL Women's Center provides a welcoming space full of resources. Their dedicated staff are here to help. Open to all genders, they offer various programs, including free confidential counseling available to UNL students, faculty, and staff. Take advantage of their resources, get involved as a volunteer, or just stop by to check things out. The Women's Center, at the intersection of gender and your life.
The Capital Humane Society's Pylock Pet Adoption Center, where you can find your next baby girl, your next Aaron, or your next furry animal companion. Each adoption comes with spaying or neutering, microchip registration, and a health exam that is included in adoption fees. So stop by the Capital Humane Society's Pylock Pet Adoption Center, located at 70th and Highway 2, to find your next furry friend.
Welcome back to Star City News. I'm Zach Penrice. Today we've enjoyed some nice sunshine in the metro area, but temperatures have stayed more on the chilly side throughout most of the afternoon. Right now it's 62 degrees, which is about as warm as it's going to be all day. We should have clear skies overnight, and it will likely stay clear into tomorrow. It'll be a sunny morning, but temperatures around 8 a.m. are expected to be in the mid to high 30s. The high for Wednesday is 63 degrees, but like today, we won't reach that until about mid to late afternoon. Now let's get a look at that full 5-day forecast coming up in the metro area. After another nice day tomorrow, we have some showers moving into the area on Thursday with a high of only 56 degrees. Luckily, that sun will start creeping back into the forecast for Friday, and Saturday will be perhaps the sunniest day of the week. Just in time for Husker football. The sun will stay out all weekend with calm winds expected, unlike what we had last weekend. Now let's switch over to that 7-day forecast. The sun sticks around through the weekend and into next week. We'll hit 57 on Sunday, 58 on Monday, and 61 on Tuesday, with high and low temperatures staying relatively consistent. Fortunately for all of your plants still outside, we won't dip below freezing just yet, but that could happen as early as late next week, guys. So definitely something to keep an eye on. It should be raining on Thursday, but after that, some sunny weather in store for the weekend. Now let's take a look at that full Husker football forecast coming up this weekend. Now it's an early one on Saturday for the Huskers against Bethune-Cookman as the game kicks off at 11 a.m. If you're out early tailgating, bring your long johns and a jacket. You'll probably want to keep them on throughout the game. By the time we head to the fourth quarter, you may be able to take off the jacket. We'll just have to wait and see. So, guys, a really beautiful weather weekend coming up. It should be a lot of fun.
Good. I'm very excited. I hope the sun stays out because I'm ready to start carving pumpkins, and you need nice weather for that.
Absolutely.
That's very true. Still coming up on Star City News.
The Mega Million jackpot has officially reached a record $970 million. Everyone is anxiously waiting to be the lucky winner.
But first, Amanda Acevedo gives us the lowdown on the upcoming weekend in sports.
I just realized that was supposed to be 1.6.
If you're feeling hopeless, depressed, or suicidal, you're not alone. If you think that your life isn't worth living, then you need a second opinion. Local trained counselors right here in Lincoln are here for you. Call the Centerpoint Crisis Response at 402-475-6695 or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Suicide is a permanent solution for temporary feelings. There is help. There is hope. Make the call.
As part of their Simple Living campaign, Sustain UNL wants to teach you to make your own compost for gardening. Making your own compost is as simple as throwing uneaten fruit, vegetables, bread, and eggshells in a pile and letting nature do the rest. Try turning your pile once a week to aerate it and add it to your garden before planting for the best effect. To learn more about living simply, visit Sustain UNL's Facebook page. Sustain UNL, creating a sustainable world through activism, education, and service engagement.
Libraries are more than just books. The Bennett Martin Public Library is a place for the whole community to take a break and read, or use technology. It's especially a place for our children to play, learn, and read. We offer spaces that help children learn to read and then love to read. Family story times and summer reading programs help establish the reading habit. Please support libraries as they help children grow into lifelong readers and learners. For more information, please visit lincolnlibraries.org.
Welcome back to Star City News. I'm Amanda Acevedo. Having a 1-6 record has never sounded so good to Cornhusker fans. That's right, the Nebraska Huskers won their first game on Saturday when they played Minnesota at Memorial Stadium.
Just really putting an emphasis on that this last week, translating those yards into points, and just knowing we needed to finish drives, and something that we had been missing in previous games.
Following the Huskers' first win this Saturday, freshman quarterback Adrian Martinez was named Co-Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He completed 25 for 29 passes.
We're just starting to execute it at a better rate. I've been saying we've been getting better. I think that showed up on the field. We just come short of a couple wins, but the offense is starting to understand the system.
The Huskers finished the game with a total of 659 yards.
The O-line, they blocking, yeah, they're doing crazy good things out there, so I really appreciate that.
On Saturday, the Huskers will play the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats at home. Coach Frost gave the players yesterday's practice off, but said they will have to work hard the rest of the week. The Husker volleyball team is looking up going into their game tomorrow versus Ohio State. The now 9th-ranked Huskers have lost the last 4 of 5 matches against high-ranked teams, such as number 4 Penn State, number 7 Wisconsin, and twice versus number 3 Minnesota, with their only win coming against Indiana on October 10th. The Huskers are now 15-5 overall and 6-4 in the Big Ten.
No easy matches, and our players are learning that you just got to find a way to try to survive and win these matches best you can. And if you don't, you get another shot the next week.
On October 6th, the Huskers lost to then number 5 Minnesota in 4 sets. Since then, the Huskers have lost to Penn State, Wisconsin, and Minnesota on the road.
In this conference, you're going to lose matches unless you have a really, really special team. Minnesota they may run the table, but it's a tough conference. You can see everybody we're playing is either, I mean, we're playing a top 10 team again this week, a top 10 team again and then next week, plus Ohio State on the road, who's already beaten Penn State.
After a long fight to the end, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat out the Milwaukee Brewers on Saturday in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Red Sox claimed the American League Championship title last Thursday when they beat the Houston Astros in Game 5.
In this town, everything started after October, and we're glad that we're here. I'm happy to lead this group of men, and we're ready for the challenge.
The first game of the 114th World Series begins tonight at 7:09 p.m. on Fox. The Boston Red Sox will be facing the Los Angeles Dodgers at home. The two have played each other in one previous World Series. In 1916, the Boston Red Sox beat the then Brooklyn Robins in 5 games.
I like the underdog role, but I do know that everyone in our clubhouse doesn't see it as icing on the cake. It's been our goal since last year to win a World Series. So it's a good club over there, but we still like our guys, and it's going to be a good one, and they're going to get everything we have.
The Falcons faced the Giants in Monday Night Football and came out on top. Atlanta was the first to score with 5:46 left in the second quarter and later scored a field goal before the end of the half, but they also gave up a field goal to the Giants to make the score 10-3 leading into the third quarter. Both teams scored field goals in the third to make the score 6-13. With 7:47 left in the fourth, Tevin Coleman ran in a 30-yard touchdown to give the Falcons the lead, but the Giants quickly answered with a touchdown, but failed to complete a 2-point conversion. With only 1:55 left in the fourth, the Falcons make another field goal, bringing the score to 23-12. The Giants try to close up the gap and score a touchdown and complete the 2-point conversion with only 5 seconds remaining, making the final score 23-20 Falcons. The Falcons are now 3-4 and the Giants are now 1-6. As I mentioned earlier, the battle between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox begins in Game 1 tonight of the World Series at 7:09 p.m. Then tomorrow night, the 9th-ranked Husker volleyball team faces the Ohio State Buckeyes at the Covelli Center in Columbus, Ohio. The game is set to begin at 6 p.m. and will broadcast on BTN. Nebraska ball is having a Husker Hoops preview event tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Admission is free, with the first 1,000 fans receiving free t-shirts. The Huskers are scheduled to run through a practice from 5 to 6:30 and then sign autographs for fans shortly after. Well, that'll do it for sports. Stick around, plenty still to come on Star City News.
Since 1990, the Mary Ritma Ross Media Arts Center has served the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with independent film from across the country. With live theater broadcasts, Q&A sessions, and local film festivals, the Ross offers exclusive events year-round. So drop in, grab some popcorn, and watch some of the finest comedies, documentaries, or thrillers. For any movie genre you prefer, the Ross has got it covered.
We have a new University Health Center, now including the UNMC College of Nursing. The new and improved University Health Center offers everything in one place, including a full-service pharmacy and physical therapy. If you're feeling stressed, talk it out with counseling, or relax and unwind in the all-new Zen Room, now located at 550 North 19th Street.
Welcome back to Star City News. Netflix has already spent a ton of money to build their empire. Now they're planning to take on $2 billion in debt. The company said the money will be used for general corporate purposes. This does include Netflix originals. Netflix has 137 million subscribers, but there are so many other streaming services, they have to spend this much money to stay on top. That will do it for this episode of Star City News.
Make sure you tune in on Thursday for our next newscast. Until then, I'm Bailey Bertiska.
And I'm Abby Stonehawker. Thanks for watching, and good night.